Good morning, everyone. So, for a while now, this video is going to be about something that ever since this certain experience I had, something that I've done a lot of research on. I mean, when I say a lot of research, I mean a lot of research because there's so much information out there. So much information out there, you gotta kind of sift through what you might think is bullshit, but I mean, all information will add to your knowledge base, so I guess it really doesn't matter. You kind of got to discern for yourself, what is possible and what isn't. But you know, we live in a world, in a reality where anything and everything is possible. All possibilities exist within the now, parallel to each other within the now. If you'd like, and everything is connected, right? So I've done research on topics like metaphysics, quantum physics, conventional physics, string theory. But the topic that I'm talking about today is extraterrestrials, aliens, but to my understanding, what I think they are is hyperdimensional entities, beings that have evolved past physicality. Well, I'll just dive into it. A few years ago, I was homeless, but luckily I met a man named Kenny, an older gentleman, who took me in and put a roof over my head. Not much of a roof, really, because it had holes in it, and this is in Independence, Kansas, a small town. I'm a city boy, but I moved to this, in the middle of fucking nowhere, so I could be closer to my daughter after me and my ex-wife split up and such. Anyway, so to give you kind of a frame of reference, sleep paralysis, for those who don't know, is a mode that your body goes through when you sleep. Your body shuts down most of its motor functions so you don't act out your dreams and potentially hurt yourself by acting out your dreams. Well, I've woken up in sleep paralysis before where I can't move at all and I'm just like trapped inside of my head, unable to move inside of this physical prison. And but this time was different. So I didn't have a bed at the time. I just had a recliner. I woke up in sleep paralysis one night. My dogs must have been in the other room with my roommate. I think it was like around 3 o'clock in the morning because I could see the clock in the kitchen. And I noticed something from the corner of my eye. Something was next to me. Something was kind of hunched over. And then it stood up. This thing stood up right next to me, so fucking close, way too close for comfort. Now, if you can imagine how scary that might be, because one, you can't move, you're in sleep paralysis, and you're very vulnerable, right? Yeah. I'm a veteran. I've been to Afghanistan. Afghanistan didn't scare me as much as this did. This thing stands up next to me, and I shit you not, it's a fucking extraterrestrial. It's an alien. It's the guys with the large head, and he was lean, and he was like a gray alien. what you see, all over the internet and all over the world, your typical gray alien. But this guy wasn't just gray. There was different color patterns to his skin, kind of like a peach color, and then some gray, just super fucking creepy though. He had large black eyes, a slit for a mouth. I believe he had slits for nostrils. And I just remember as soon as I seen this thing, I went into straight panic mode, shock. I was screaming, but nothing was coming out of my mouth because of, sleep paralysis. And as I'm looking at its eyes, I realize I can't tear my gaze away. I can't look away for some reason. I feel, and this weird sensation inside of my head started happening. And I knew right then that this thing wasn't just looking at me. It knew I was scared, even though I couldn't move and express anything. It knew I was scared, and the fear, I just knew this thing wasn't right. It didn't, it wanted me to be scared. And I could also feel with that weird sensation that it was inside of my mind, that it was reading my thoughts, reading my energy, something like that. It's so hard to put on it, but I felt extremely violated. It was like probing me in my head and reading my mind. It was the weirdest sensation, but anyway, so I don't remember what happened after this, because we were just sitting there staring at each other. Inside I'm screaming, I can't fucking move or look away. And when I tell you this thing was close, I could see the fucking pores on this thing's skin. It was so close. The wrinkles on its skin is, you think that seeing this shit on the internet or on photos and stuff like that, you would be prepared to see something like this in real life. No, not at all. So the next thing I remember was it being morning time, was that it became morning time. I have a gap of time. I don't even remember dreaming after that, and if I would slip back into a dream state, because it was just a cut scene from that to it being morning time. And I remember shaking when I came to. And I told my roommate about it. I woke his ass up immediately. That was the first thing I did. I told him about it, and he was skeptical at first. He's like, dude, so if that happened, why didn't the dogs react? I was like, you're right. Why didn't they? Why didn't they bust in the room if they felt or sensed that someone else besides us was in there? Because dogs are very in tune and sensitive creatures. They'll smell this thing. They should have fucking heard me mumble or moan or something and busted in that room and tore this thing a new asshole, but they didn't. Which makes me think these things aren't completely physical. They're hyperdimensional. Based off my research, that's what I'm kind of sticking to now. Now, some other people that I've told, some people that I trust that I've told, they're like, you sure it wasn't a dream? I'm like, dude, I dive into dream interpretation all the time. I have lucid dreams all the time where I become awake inside of a dream. I've had astral projections, out-of-body experiences where you separate your consciousness from your physical body through meditation. I've experienced all different types of altered states of consciousness. This was a wakeful state of consciousness, fully aware of what's going on. And that lost time is what bothers me the most. What did it want from me? Why just crouch next to me and stand up and scare the living shit out of me? Like, when I'm talking about fear, I'm not talking about like someone jumping out of a room and startling you. That's like more like being startled. It's not as, you know, this was terror. I've never experienced that type of fear before. I felt violated for some reason. So I've done a lot of research. And I've had some astral projection experiences that I'll talk about in a later video. Some scary ones, some enlightening ones about the nature of reality, our place in the universe, my soul's origin. A lot of crazy stuff that people, you know, if you don't have an open mind, you're not going to be very receptive to this kind of information. But to the young lady, Miss Death, I believe her YouTube tag is, or whatever username. I watched your video, and the fear that I saw in your eyes. Can I say that it was kind of good to see that? Because I felt the same thing that night. You know, we're not alone out there. There's a lot of people out there that have had these type of experiences. You said you don't know what to take away from the experience. How about, in fact, that everything happens for a reason? You said that you were a logical person and that, you know, that alien stuff, you didn't believe in that crap up until your own personal experiences. Maybe this was meant to happen, so it's like a wake-up call, you know? This is actually my 4th video of trying to do this, because I tried doing this last night, and I just kept getting this creepy-ass feeling that something was watching me. I was getting the chills. The hair on the back of my neck was standing up talking about it. I'm like, nope, can't do this. That night, I'll never forget it. And I feel like that thing kind of took my sanity from me, but I feel like I'm on the way on getting it back. Because things are starting to make sense now. Everything is connected. Quantum physics, aliens, spirituality, metaphysics, mysticism, whatever. All these different topics on various subjects, that you realize that that everything is connected to each other. That this did happen for a reason. It's just up to us to find it. So that's my spiel. I'll be posting other videos about various topics, and if you guys got any questions or anything like that, get at me, because we're not alone. And sometimes it's just good to hear that, you know what I mean? So, namaste.